Alrighty, folks, we're now hitting at 70% in our last 10 NBA tier membership plays on my premium page following Thursday's sports wagering action. We had the Knicks money line on Thursday, and they took care of the Pistons in a nail-biter at the end. And if you want to see which one of the games on the Saturday slate that I actually like the best, I'll have another NBA tier membership play going off on Saturday. Of course, if you want to access all of my premium selections, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. And I'll talk a little bit more about all that in just a moment. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick time out and welcome you to my NBA free pick video here today for Saturday, April 26, 2025. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you had a great start to the weekend. And of course, if you're joining me for the first time here today, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks on YouTube since 2016. And once again, if you want to access all of my premium selections, the games I like the best, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Gold Club membership. Gold Club members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. Of course, if you don't need access to all of my premium plays, but maybe you could use like one a day, my daily best play costs just 6 cents a day for 30 days worth of access. I currently have over 2,365 members who are signed up and active on my premium page right now. And with that, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. Going to take a look at that Cavs Heat game. That's game 3 of the series, 1 o'clock Eastern tip-off. Cleveland's up 2-0 in the series. They're also -6 in this one. Total's 213.5. Now, the Cavs have taken their last 4 straight meetings against Miami. Wildly underrated on the defensive end of the floor. I think a lot of folks, focus on how good they are, on the offensive end. But listen, the Cavs are currently 3rd in the league in defensive field goal percentage. Of course, on the offensive end, they're averaging more points a game than any other roster. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 30 points a game in the series, 47% from outside the arc. And Darius Garland shooting 41% from three-land himself in the series, 24 points a game for him. They're facing a Miami team who's in the bottom 10 in defensive boards, dead last in blocks. Of course, on the offensive end, the Heat, they just don't get to the stripe enough. They're in the bottom 5 in free throws made per game, bottom 10 in points per contest. Give me Cleveland -6. Next matchup, Thunder Grizzlies, game 4, 3:30 p.m. East. Oklahoma City's up 3-0 in the series. They've looked pretty dominant. They're also -14.5 in game 4. Totals 223 and a hook. But even though OKC's just been all gas, no brakes in the series, they did fail to cover in game 3. Memphis was a tad more competitive in that matchup. And listen, for a team who's in the top 3 in points per game, I would expect the Grizzlies to at least be competitive again in game 4. John Morant's averaged over 18 points a game in the series. Pippen and Bane have all been perfect from the foul line in the series as well. And as much as the Grizzlies have struggled defensively against OKC, they're still in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Now, OKC on the other side, they really don't rely much on getting to the line. They're in the bottom 5 in free throw attempts per game. Of course, on the defensive end, they've sent a considerable amount of shooters to the stripe. They're 24th in free throws allowed per contest. Meanwhile, Memphis makes more free throws a game than any other roster besides one. Once again, I can't see the Grizzlies getting blown out in an elimination game at home. I think they can keep it within at least 15 points. I like Memphis plus 14.5. All right, next contest, Nuggets-Clippers game 4, 6 o'clock East. LA's up 2-1 in the series. They're also -6, totals 212.5. And listen, after 3 straight unders in the series, I think game 4 finally gets over the number. We've got 2 teams who have a bunch of firepower on the offensive end of the floor. The Clippers are currently 6th in shooting from the field. They do a nice job, from the stripe. Kawhi Leonard shooting 92% from the foul line in the series, 50% from downtown. James Harden scoring 23 points a game in the series as well. Meanwhile, the Nuggets on the other side, well, they are the best field goal shooting team in the game, second in points per contest. Nikola Jokic is averaging 26 points a game in the series, 11 boards, 11 assists. Jamal Murray's drilling 42% of his long balls in the series as well, 22 points a game. Now, Denver saw overs recently against Houston, Sacramento, and the Pacers. Meanwhile, the Clippers with overs in 4 out of their last 8. I like the over 212.5. All right, next and final breakdown for the video. Rockets-Warriors Game 3, 8:30 Eastern tip-off. Series is all knotted up at 1 game apiece. Golden State's -3, totals 202. And even though we're knotted up in the series, the Warriors have looked pretty dismal on the offensive end of the floor. They scored just 95 points in Game 1, 94 points in Game 2. And I've said this before, on the channel, Golden State is not a great shooting team. They're 25th in shooting from the field, 25th in shooting from the stripe. For some reason, well, they've had difficulties getting shots off. They're 24th in blocked shots per game. They're facing a Houston squad who's done a nice job of rebounding and guarding the 3-ball. Houston's the second best defensive rebounding team in the game. They allow just a dozen 3-pointers per contest. Of course, on the offensive end, this is currently the best offensive rebounding team in the game. Alperen Şengün, he's averaging a dozen boards a game in this series, 21.5 points per contest. Jalen Green's averaging 22.5 points a night in this series as well, handful of 3 balls per game. Of course, as a team, the Rockets are 23-17 in their travels. I think they have enough to keep this one within at least a bucket. This is a really tight, this has been a tight series. I think this is going to be another close matchup. I like Houston +3. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. I like the Cavaliers -6, getting the job done against Miami. Give me the Grizzlies +14.5, getting the job done against Oklahoma City. I like the over 212.5 in that Nuggets-Clippers matchup. Give me the Rockets +3, getting the job done against Golden State. With that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium page. And if you do end up getting a membership here today on my premium site, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships during that time frame, absolutely free. Going to be included with your membership. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, folks, happy Friday or Saturday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you, and I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium page.